Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, and I do appreciate the woman walking us through the protocols for the unfunded mandates. And I would submit to her that the National Network to End Domestic Violence, who does a point-in-time counting of domestic services nationwide, would indicate that it costs not only personal anguish, but there are costs in society, actual fiscal costs to not protecting women who are suffering in violent situations. Right in my own state of Wisconsin, 714,000 women have been assaulted, raped, or stalked by an intimate partner. I mean, this number actually exceeds the population of an entire city of Milwaukee. Imagine the cost to employers when people don't show up at work. Imagine the cost in emergency rooms when people show up battered and bruised and broken and have no health insurance. And approximately 500,000 of these women were fearful or concerned for their safety. 280,000 Wisconsin women, 12.7% of our population, have been stalked in their lifetimes. Imagine the cost of additional police work that this costs when nothing has been done, when these women call police and nothing has been done in terms of making arrests and asking for accountability. A study of childhood exposure to violence in Milwaukee has found that 16% of Wisconsin adults report having experienced occurring violence between adults in their childhood. Imagine the loss of productivity at schools. There's often a lot of talk about kids being inattentive in school and not being able to pass and succeed in school. Next to hunger, imagine the cost of witnessing and experiencing violence in the home, cost to society. I was wondering if the lady would yield to a question.
I'm sorry. I will yield for a question.
Thank you so much, Representative Fox. I wanted to know, there were several amendments that were introduced in the Rules Committee last evening, and I was wondering if you were aware of any amendments that were adopted after we left the Rules Committee last evening. I know there had been a hearing, and I was wondering if any of the amendments that Democrats had introduced were adopted.
None of the amendments were made in order except the manager's amendment, which brings the bill closer to the Senate version of the bill.
Thank you so much for that response. Well, the manager's amendment thankfully was adopted, because the manager's amendment did have one little piece in there that to help out immigrant women. But there are 325 groups and organizations, everything from the National Women of Organization to evangelical women and the bishops, that oppose even the manager's amendment, because they say that not only are there just simply rollbacks to the Violence Against Women Act, but it actually puts immigrant women in danger as the balance is tipped from current law in the favor of these batterers, sexual assaulters, abusers, and killers. Again, Mr. Speaker, I would like now to yield to my good friend Laura Richardson from California for a unanimous consent request.
Mr. Speaker, yes, I ask unanimous consent to submit my remarks in opposition to the Republican bill that weakens protections against violence for women, and I stand in strong support of the bipartisan Senate bill.
Without objection. Gentlelady from Wisconsin is recognized.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I was asking, asked the gentlelady if she would just yield to one more question.
Mr. Speaker, I'll yield.
Thank you.
I will answer the gentlewoman's question.
Thank you for your courtesy, Representative Fox. Will this body ever have an opportunity to vote on the bipartisan bill from the Senate that passed 68 to 31. Will this body ever have the opportunity, will that bill ever be before us?
Mr. Speaker, I cannot assume what this body will do in the future. I am one member of the Rules Committee and the Education Committee. I do not have control over that, and I don't believe anybody can predict the future.
Representative, just a follow-up. You are a member, very senior member of the Rules Committee, and so I was wondering if the rule is structured in a way that will ever allow us to have it before us after we vote on this version, the Adams version of the VAWA bill. Will there be a pathway toward voting on the Senate bill as you understand the rules?
The gentlelady's time has expired. The gentlelady from North Carolina is recognized.